Hey everyone, this is the Mind of Lilith, and thank you for joining me today. I wanted to share my thoughts about Will and Jada Pinkett's relationship. There's a lot of commentary and, feedback about the Oscars debacle, and people are blaming Jada for Will's actions, which I do not agree with. Will is a grown man. Will is a control freak. Will is a consummate professional. Will knows exactly what he's doing when he does it. I think at the very least, he overplayed his hand, or he did not sell the joke, whatever joke he was trying to make, he didn't sell it properly. Something happened and it just did not happen the way that it was supposed to. But I don't think Jada told him to do anything now, or it did. And I'll discuss the other alternative. Like maybe this did happen the way that it was supposed to, and there's a reason why. But I won't discuss that in this particular episode. So here's the deal. Over the past couple of years, Will and Jada's relationship has been in the mainstream news because she had an affair with August Alsina, and there's a big uproar over that, as if Will hasn't had his own side piece relationships over the past 20 something years. Both of them have been doing this. It is what it is. I'm not concerned with that per se. Jada's affair with August was not really a big deal to me as far as, her having an affair. This is Hollywood. They do this all the time. Like, this is nothing new. What was concerning to me about that affair was the reason why she said she did it. And that kind of brings me to my topic about spiritual narcissists. And I'm talking about individuals who use spirituality or religion or their faith or, their profession even as a doctor to play God in a sense, or to get attention from other people, to feel superior to other people without actually caring about the person that they're supposedly helping. So let me clarify what I'm trying to say. So when Jada said that she wanted somebody to heal, right? And August came to her wounded, sick, disturbed, lonely. I think his mother had passed. He'd been going through a lot of issues physically and psychologically. And it didn't hurt that he was tall, gorgeous, young, with a big penis, from what I've heard, okay? So Jada said, I wanted somebody to heal, right? And now, mind you, Jada had been complaining basically her entire marriage to Will about not being happy because Will didn't need to be healed. Will was already Will Smith. He was already successful. He was already confident in himself in a sense. He was disciplined. He did not have the type of issues that she would need to feel validated, right? So, no matter what Will did, he bent over backwards for her, gave her whatever she needed. She still suffered from some self-destructive habits, alcoholism, sexual promiscuity, depression, etc. And that's understandable. I get it, because she grew up in an environment where she was, struggling and maybe neglected in a sense. I think her mom was on drugs. So she grew up feeling neglected and not loved and not wanted. So when she marries this man and he gives her everything she wants, he's gorgeous, he's tall, he's rich, he's famous, they have all this money and wealth, she's like, I don't deserve this. And she starts to destroy herself with alcohol and drugs. But Will, being the patient, loving man that he is to her, he wanted to help her through that. He wanted to help her through her issues, but the more he tried to help her, the more she pushed him away, right? Because just like Martell and Melody, a lot of narcissists, they don't want to be better. They don't want to feel better, okay? Because as long as they're sick and damaged and wounded and irritated and there's a problem, you're going to give them your undivided attention, right? Like a newborn baby that cries all day and the mom is like, what is wrong? All of her attention is focused on trying to stop the baby from crying. The baby may need a bottle, they may need to be birthed, they may be colicky, etc., right? Now, when adults do this, in a lot of cases, there's nothing you can do to satisfy these type of people except get broken down and fucked up with them, like Martell tried to do with Melody. So when August comes along, he's sick, he's lonely, he's sad, it's all this other stuff. Jada wants to heal him, right? And she uses her body and her words of wisdom to heal him. She's saving him from, himself. And that is sort of the insidious nature of spiritual narcissism. Spiritual narcissists only believe that they can heal you as long as they're getting something from you in return. So, for example, Jada did not feel healed when Will was giving her everything that she wanted as far as parties and fame and money and whatever. She only felt healed when somebody broken gave their body to her. So she was getting something from that. Someone with a sex addiction, now you got a young, hot, sick, weakened, broken person. You can save them and rejuvenate them with your vagina, right? Jada said she felt good for the first time in a long time because this young, gorgeous man was healed by her. She saved him. Now, she didn't feel a little weird that she was emotionally exploiting a young man who wanted something more serious from her. She didn't feel any guilt about that at all. She felt better just because he was kind of restored back to health. She probably performed some tantric sex magic on him. And, his body and his mind was healed and he felt loved and appreciated. But she did not take into account the fact that he would fall in love with her because his feelings didn't matter. It was all about how she felt about herself based on her ability to heal somebody else. Unfortunately, August was drawn to the situation like a moth to a flame. I think they have a Pluto and Venus conjunction. Pluto and Venus conjunctions are very healing, but the healing that Jada gave him wasn't about his physical health. She actually helped him to heal his own wounds about love and relationships based on the pain and the trauma he experienced from her. So she healed him, but not in the way that she thought she was going to, right? She thought she was going to restore his body, help him with his addiction. And it turns out she actually helped him to heal spiritually because he was transformed by the situation. He was sick over her. He was love sick over her, devastated over her. And at this time, she was a woman in her 40s, right? She took advantage of this young man. Not to say that he didn't have a mind of his own, but a 40-year-old woman who's married and she knows she's not leaving her husband, okay? Seducing a young man and still not leaving her husband, that's manipulation. She had no intention of leaving Will Smith ever, and she knew this when she got in a relationship with him. So she wasn't trying to heal him per se for him. She was trying to heal him for herself. She was trying to feel better for herself. She said to Will, I felt good for the first time in a long time. Why? What was August Alsina doing for Jada that Will couldn't do for her, right? So August Alsina put Jada on a pedestal, but he was also broken and, he didn't have as much money as she did. He was sick. This is spiritual narcissism. These are people who prey on individuals who are weak and sick and broken, right? And then they use that weak and sick and broken individual to feel validated because they're in a position now to help them to recover from whatever they're going through. But they're not taking into consideration the trauma bond or the bond that they're creating with this person who may fall in love with them as a result of them showing some sort of support and nurturing and caring. That wasn't what Jada's concern was. I'm not saying she didn't care about him, but I'm saying that she didn't care about him in the ways that she thought she did. Okay? Because how did his penis get involved with his healing? Yes, I understand there's tantric sex, but I don't think they were doing that. I think that she entered a romantic relationship with him because she wanted to feel loved and like she was saving somebody and like she was in a position to rescue someone else because she has a savior complex. A lot of Virgos have this issue, especially Virgos who are low vibrational. Not all Virgos, but low vibrational Virgos, they have this complex. A lot of them, especially the men, they tend to enter BDSM relationships. But I'm not going to get too much into that in this particular discussion. But yeah, I think Jada is a spiritual narcissist. I believe that she is someone who's only happy around people who are miserable. Because now I can swoop in and save the day. So the more happy and successful Will became, the more miserable Jada became as well. So there's nothing that he could do to make her feel better. And she says that whatever gestures that he makes to make her feel better are selfish, right? It doesn't matter how he wants to express his love to her. If she doesn't like it, she's not going to accept the gesture. She's not going to be gracious enough to do that. But when August Alsina comes along, she gave him love the way that she wanted to. He may have been down with it because he's a horny young man and he's attracted to her, but that was not in his best interest. And as an older woman, she should have known better than to get into an illicit relationship with a young man when she knew she was not going to get a divorce from her husband. Okay? So the way that she thinks that Will was selfish when it comes to her and her needs, she was also very selfish towards August Alsina, who's young enough to be her son. Okay? I'm not saying that, everybody who's a doctor or a spiritual leader or guru or a healer is a narcissist. I'm not saying that at all. But there are people who are narcissists already, and they come into this space of being a holy ascended master with the aims of being around a bunch of people who they feel like are less than them so they can feel better about themselves. That's basically the bottom line of it. And the real talk, I had to ask myself the same question, right? Am I in this space offering advice to people because I think I'm here to save everybody? And the answer was hell no, because I tried to avoid creating my platform for months. It's not even months, years. I did not feel like I had the right to tell anybody what to do with their lives. And I felt like my advice wouldn't be appreciated because nobody asked for my opinion. So me offering unsolicited advice to people I don't know felt kind of strange to me. But anyway, when it comes to Jada, there were a few things that I felt like was disturbing about her relationship with Will. She seemed to be happier when he was in distress. So whenever he was trying to vie for her attention or to get her to be happy or smile or feel better about all of the good luck that she has. I mean, she's married to a man who loves her. She was still young and healthy. And, even though she's in Hollywood, she has the option to leave if she doesn't want to be there, right? Will seems to allow her to do everything that she wants to do, including have a whole relationship with somebody else. So if she didn't want to be in Hollywood, she could leave whenever she felt like it, okay? And as a side note, I am starting to suspect that the rumors about Will and Jada being Scientologists are true. Because according to Scientology, you're not allowed to get a divorce, no matter how unhappy you are. And if you were to get a divorce, you would be completely excommunicated from the Scientology community, the way that Katie Holmes was when she divorced Tom Cruise. I'm starting to suspect that is the issue in this situation. There may be some resentment about them not being able to get a divorce. There's something going on here it doesn't make sense. If you're married to a man who does everything for you, who's giving you everything you wanted per se, I'm not saying he hasn't cheated, but she has too. So why are these two people so miserable together? And Will said that back in, 2014, I believe he said he was done with her. He was done with her attitude. He was done with her complaining about everything. He was done with trying to please somebody who could never be happy, no matter how much he gave her, no matter how much effort he tried to put into their relationship. There was something always wrong. And that's how it is with narcissists. The same thing with Martell and Melody. No matter what Melody did, no matter how many kids she had, no matter how good she looked, no matter how much money she brought into the house, no matter how many times she gave him oral sex, there would still always be a problem. Because whenever there's a problem, you're going to get a bunch of attention from the person who you want it from. So if I'm always complaining about something, the person I love may say, what is wrong? How can I fix this? And if it's fixed, then there's nothing to complain about. And that means I don't get any attention. That's kind of what Jada has been doing to Will over the course of their marriage. And I think he got tired of it at some point and said, fuck it, you want to go? Then go. Then she met August, and there's somebody who's broken. I can try to heal. I feel better for the first time in a long time. Okay? That's a red flag for me. I'm not saying that, you can't care about somebody and want to help them to heal. But how did your vagina become a part of the treatment plan? That's something that is, to me, that is exploitative. That is a sexually exploitative relationship. Okay? Somebody is hurt, wounded, lost, sick, lonely, and whatever. And you come along and then you take advantage of this person. Not to say that August didn't enjoy it, but he didn't know what he was in for. Now imagine a 22-year-old girl going to a 48-year-old pastor who's married, crying and complaining about her boyfriend breaking up with her, and then her pastor offers her counsel and support, and all of a sudden he starts sleeping with her. She falls in love with him, but he's not going to leave his wife. That's kind of the same situation, right? Someone coming under the guise of being a healer and a leader and someone to give advice and counsel, and all of a sudden you're both naked. If you guys remember that episode of Martin, like back in the 90s, and I think he joined some Naji Rama cult, something like that, and the cult told everybody to practice celibacy. But then when everybody left, the leader of the cult basically told Martin that he would have to sleep with her as part of an initiation ceremony. That's what this reminds me of. This is not uncommon among people who are spiritual narcissists. I'm not saying Jada's a bad person. I'm not saying that she's doing things to intentionally hurt people. But what I'm saying is, it looks like she's a type of person who enjoys when other people around her are miserable, so she can come along and say, oh, what's wrong? How can I help you? How can I help you to heal? And then when they're happy, she treats them like trash. Or she just ignores them, or does something to make them feel uneasy or unhappy so that she can get the attention on her. That's what it seems like to me. Maybe I'm wrong. Okay, maybe I'm too hard on her. And I'm going to be honest. I've always loved Jada as an actress. I thought she was gorgeous. I thought she was a great actress. I loved her vibe, her chemistry, the way that she presents herself. She seems like a woman who knows who she is, right? But does she know that she's toxic? I don't think the bald-headed joke offended her the way that people are making it seem, because this is a person. Jada walked around with her bald head on purpose, knowing that it is what it is. Like, if you're secure enough to walk around with a bald head in Hollywood at the Oscars, then you're secure enough to deal with a mild G.I. Jane joke. Like, I've heard worse. Okay? Not to say that, Chris Rock was right to make that joke, but that wasn't that big of a deal. So there was something else going on. And the fact that she was smiling after Will basically sabotaged his brand, to me, it meant that she was cool with that and she liked the drama. And, she was okay with the gesture. To be honest, I don't agree with women who say that men should fight over them. Okay? If you're not in danger, if your man's not in danger, or your children aren't in danger, or your home isn't in danger, I don't like the idea of men, especially black men, fighting over every little slight or insult that somebody throws at them, especially when they're with their girl. That's absurd to me. I don't want my man fighting all over the place. That is dangerous. That is tacky. That is ghetto. That is stupid as hell. Okay? Your man can get killed over some petty little insult because your feelings are hurt. I'm not saying that, men shouldn't defend their women. What I am saying is, unless there is a real threat to your life, to your safety, a man should not be attacking or fighting another man on your behalf. Because things happen all the time. Yes, he's supposed to protect you and make sure that it's known that, you're his girl and whatever. Fine. But to want him to be your attack dog every time somebody says something you don't like, that's stupid as hell and immature. And there are a lot of women who like that. There are a lot of women who want their man to get into fights for them or over them to prove their love. That's not the way you do it. That is just toxic and stupid as hell. Okay? So I don't think Jada told Will to do this, but the fact that she was laughing and smiling after it happened, either she didn't understand the magnitude of what happened, or she thought it was a joke, or he thought it was a joke, or the joke kind of got overplayed. I don't know what happened. But it was just bizarre. I think, like I said, if it was supposed to be a joke, because he didn't hit him that hard, if it was supposed to be a joke, it didn't land well, so he kind of tried to overplay it and sell it as something else at the end. I don't know. It is what it is. I don't know. But like I said, Jada reminds me of people who are, spiritual leaders and doctors and counselors or whoever, who exalt themselves over other people who are coming to them for help. And they enjoy that relationship. They enjoy being around broken, lost, sick people because it makes them feel better about themselves. So someone like Will Smith, Jada kind of resents because he doesn't need her for anything. And it's complicated because you're like, well, if you want someone to need you, that means that you want to take care of somebody. But you don't want to take care of somebody at the expense of that person. Like, you don't want the person to need you and be sick just so you can take care of them. That's not love either. Like, I need you to be sick for me to love you. That's not going to work. That's not healthy. If you really love somebody, you want them to be healthy and happy when they're in your presence. You don't want them to be sick so that you can save them. That is a real major problem. And I think it's called Munchausen's by proxy, something like that, where women intentionally get their children sick, or they poison their children just so they can get the attention from the child going to the doctor. That's what I think is going on with Jada and Will. I don't think that she is poisoning him physically, but she is poisoning him emotionally and psychologically. If he is trying to always appease her and bend over backwards to cater to her, and she's never satisfied no matter what he does. So now he's on a humiliation tour, in a sense, to destroy his perfect image so that Jada can feel better about herself. Is that what's going on right now? I honestly don't know, but what I will say is, for somebody who's trying to heal themselves and ascend and elevate their energy. That's not what's been given off to the public. Was given off to the public, not to say that we're that important, but what's given off to us is somebody who's miserable, somebody who wants to spread their misery to other people, somebody who disrespects their husband or doesn't respect him as a person, somebody who enjoys hearing other people's pain because it makes them feel better about themselves. Not because they want to heal the person, but because it makes them feel like, now you can come to me for healing. The table is here for healing. I can help you to heal even though I'm broken myself. When it comes to Will, like I said, maybe this is a part of him shedding his perfect image, and that he may feel imprisoned to that image or feel locked into that image, and it's not who he is authentically. And maybe Jada wants him to be real, be who he truly is in the public, so that she can feel like she's married to a real man and not a celebrity. I don't know. But anyway, that's all I have for this part 1. I'm going to be discussing this further at a later date. I look forward to reading your comments. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll speak to you soon.